Peace, peace, peace. Give me a second. Let me let a couple more people get in here and we're going to have this great conversation. My hair looks a mess. Peace, King. Yeah, I'm going to try to be brief. I ain't going to be on here all night talking y'all ears off about something that most of y'all won't understand anyways. But I wanted to give an opportunity for everybody that's getting on my status talking about what they think about school or what they think about this George Washington Carver School. For sure. What they think about this George Washington Carver thing. And I watched you guys justify this like with every excuse in the book, like, but I'm thinking that everybody here that's and everybody that's commenting on my post that's justifying what they don't know, they probably don't even know anything about George Washington Carver either. Like I tell you, this man was a genius. This man was just not a regular guy. He should be in every book as far as like science goes, just like all the other great scientists or whatever they want to call them, scholars. Um, I'm like disappointed that this man isn't in more books and he isn't talked about more than what he is. Now, for there to be a whole school named after this man, and then for them to have like and like I know they got a greenhouse, so I mean, if you got a greenhouse in there, you would think that these children should come out of that school knowing how to grow. Now, um, you get people that are saying that, oh, well, maybe they just didn't pay attention. Get the fuck out of here. If this school is dedicated to this man and they taught these children enough about this man, there shouldn't be no when I asked a student that went to Carver, who's George Washington Carver? What did he do? He created peanuts. That's what I'm hearing from these children. So they definitely don't have a good understanding about who this man was. So for them to name a school after this guy and then for the children to come out of there um, poorly educated is a slap in the face. They should have just named it George Washington. They could have named it after George Washington instead of George Washington Carver if that's the case. Like we should have geniuses coming out of that school. There ain't no excuses. And then people are saying to me, "Oh well, that's it's the parents' job. It's the parents' job," and I agree with that. I agree that it's the parents' job to educate their children, right? It is. I'm 100% on board with that. That's the reason why I homeschool because I believe 100% that it is my responsibility to educate my child, mine only. Now, if my child lacks the information or education that he or she needs to survive, the only person that's going to feel bad or any type of way is going to be me. I am the reason that my child is successful or fails. So my reason for not sending my children to school is because look at the succession rate. Um, there are still more children graduating high school, or not even graduating, but there are still more children that come from high school that go to prison than there are that go to college. So if we got more children going to prison than we do college, which allegedly and supposedly is designed so that you go to college or that you get further education or that you're successful, and our children aren't becoming successful, something is wrong. Everybody talk about change this and change that, and you have to be the change you want to see. Hey, I've been the change that I've wanted to see. And there is no change with you just sending your child to school and letting somebody else educating them. That's not change. How is that changing anything? How long have we been sending our children to school? How long have children been in school? You guys don't even know those answers. You don't even know when the school system was created in the United States. Before there was school, there were parents teaching their children what it took for them to survive. So there's way more history of non-school people that were successful in life than there are of people who went to school that are successful. You guys keep on avoiding the logic of it. Logically, school hasn't been around forever. According to the encyclopedia, the oldest remains is 4.5 million years old. So 4 million years ago, before there were school, people survived up until this point. So get the fuck out of here with that. Oh, you need school and all this. No, I agree that every child and every human being needs the right education, but not everybody needs school, because school hasn't always been around. Yo,
How the hell I get in there?
just a couple minutes, not too long.
I said, how did I get in there? I just came to watch. I didn't see what I'm doing. I just
They
came
wanted
to
you
watch.
in here. Well, since you did tap in, you got something to add? I guess not. Okay. Like I was saying, school. And I wish, like, where are the people that are talking on my post? Where are you at? I should have tagged y'all, because you're the people that wanted to hear this. You guys are the ones who are on my post talking about school this, school that. Like, I need you guys in here to defend this, because obviously you don't understand what school was created for. You think school was created for the betterment of the people. And you're so wrong for that. You don't, school was never created to benefit the people. School was designed and created by the government to control and manipulate the people. It was designed to politically control people. When I say politically, I mean to control your decisions, to control how you vote. Peace, peace, peace. To control how you would vote, to control how you would make your daily decisions, to control how you would even choose certain policies. Now, if I can indoctrinate you and teach you in your mind certain things that you believe that aren't true, I can manipulate you, because I know exactly how you're going to vote. I know exactly how you're going to move, because I educated you. That's the reason why the education system is there, is to keep control on the sheeple. Let's talk about the truth. Y'all thought it was here because your children needed the education. Make this make logical sense. Now, okay, after a government enslaved you, murdered and raped your ancestors, then created laws to say that you couldn't learn and you couldn't read, it was against the law for you to read. Then all of a sudden they got this great heart and this opening of minds or whatever, and came to their senses and said, oh, we should give everybody school now, after they didn't want you to read. Why the fuck do you think they did that? They had a change in heart, right, people? That's what y'all, the people that's gonna disagree with me, gonna go ahead and narrate, I guess. They had a change in heart. The law changed. They couldn't do it anymore. No, that's bullshit. They did that shit because if they didn't control your energy, if they didn't control what you thought and what you knew, then you would come up with your own ideas. And if you come up with your own ideas, how are we going to combat a free mind? How do you combat a free mind? If I got if I got millions of people that I want to control, and all these people have free minds, they're going to go their own way. They're going to go their own way. I'm not going to be able to even predict what they're going to do or how they're going to move because their minds are free. Like I told y'all before, why do you think that they give y'all on these movies that show you protests, people going out and protesting because they're not happy with the government? People going to the community meetings, down to those meetings because they're not happy with what they're doing. They show you that stuff because it conditions you to believe that, okay, if we have a problem with our government, we need to march. Peace. If we have a problem with our policies, we go down to the hearings and listen to what these politicians are saying and try to get them to change it. They taught you that because control. It's because if we know what you're going to do, we know how to combat that. Okay, well, if they're going to come down to the meeting, we'll just throw an Uncle Tom in front of them and tell them everything's going to be okay. Problem solved. If they march, we just throw our Uncle Tom out there and tell them that everything's going to be okay. Go home and or whatever they're going to do, and they're going to march and then they're going to forget about it. Now, if I got millions of people and I didn't show them the march, then you're going to have riots. You're going to have all type of things that they're not going to be ready for and don't know how to control. So stop believing the things you're being taught, or that the school was set up to benefit the people. It was never set up to benefit the people. It was set up to benefit the government. And that's the same reason why any country has an education system, to control their people. Okay, I'll get to some of these comments on here. Okay. You just came here to dance. Thank you, Shaka. We'll let you dance later on. If you believe in Nubia and Ra, Anaki started education in 1450 BC or something. The modern day school system was designed by factor. Yeah, the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, those people who want to control people. Those are the people who set up the curriculum and designed the curriculum for the school system. Completely right. To teach you what you want, to teach you what they want you to know. Completely true. They didn't design school to teach you to keep an open mind. They wanted you to know certain things that they wanted you to know. So then that way you were easy to control. Educating is supposed to bring out the best in the child. There has been an obvious and intentional miseducation. Ain't no way around it. True facts. And that's what I'm trying to tell people. People think when you start talking about school, you mean you don't think that children are supposed to be educated at all. I'm not saying that. Now, there's nothing worse than ignorance in action, so to speak. So there's no need. I wouldn't want children running around here just don't know what's going on, just flying by the seat of their pants. Ignorance in action is what got us where we are now. Worst program we ever had, it resembles a jail. Now resembles a jail. Exactly. And I tell people that when you look at the schools and you look at prisons, the same lunch mess hall, they got the same trays, the Same seats that you're gonna sit in your lunchroom is the same seat you're gonna sit in when you're in prison. The same little small window that you got outside your doorway of your classroom is the same little window you get when you're in that jail cell. That's all you get. It's just that much to look through. So why do these schools resemble prisons? And why is it that we have a high majority of our people going to prison more than they're going to college then? If you can't draw together those correlations, then you're lost. In 1950, when George Washington Carver was the head scientist at Iowa, and I'm glad you brought that up. A lot of people don't even know he came to Iowa. I read that in the book. He got how he came to Iowa was he got fostered by some foster parents kind of that came down. He was in the South. They came down to his family and said, "Hey, we'll give him a great place to stay. He's going to get great education if you send him here to Iowa." So you got to understand, this man came to Iowa. I'm glad you know that, JR. Most people don't even know that. They sit up here talking to me like I'm crazy when you don't even know this man came and lived in Iowa. Okay, hold on. Finish with your comment. 90% of the blacks had not an opportunity to get free education when our grandparents came to Iowa. It was because education was available to anyone in the early days. The one-room schoolhouse was just designed to push you to seeking knowledge. Now, yeah, exactly. So this man came to Iowa at a time where Iowa was, and it's still racist, but a time when racism was very high, and came here and received top quality Iowa education. Now, why did they go down there? Yeah, it was in the 40s. Why did they go down there to get this man all the way from the South? I want to say, was he in, I don't remember exactly, so I'm not even going to lie to you guys where he was at. I read it, but he was in the South somewhere. Why did they go get this man from the South out of these schools and bring him to Iowa to give him a top quality education? And he was a black man, and it was complete racist around this time. Racism was high. Why do you think they did that? This man was very, 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 very intelligent. They couldn't allow this man just to sit down there in the schools with everybody else, because he probably would have enlightened others' children in his school. He would have promoted everybody else to be smarter. They had to get him out of there. So they brought him up to Iowa, sent him to the colleges and schools here, and allowed him to become the top scientist. So if this man's the top scientist, a black man during a time where they don't even acknowledge black people at all. And I'm gonna get to that part, Razul. 1 second. They're not acknowledging, they're not even acknowledging black people at all, but they went and got this man, brought him up here and made him the top scientist, right? And he's not in any of the books, in the science books prior. That's what I don't understand. Why wasn't this man, how did he come to be a top scientist here in Iowa, to not being in no books for none of the books for being a scientist in the schools when I was coming up? I never heard of George Washington Carver in not one of my science classes. Why don't y'all let that soak in to y'all? And then you barely even hear about this man on in Black History Month. And if you do, you just hear something about peanuts. Like, that's the only thing he had to offer was peanuts. All I'm saying is this: school was not created for the betterment of the people. Black, white, no matter what you are, it was never created for the benefit of you guys, period. And then I'm gonna get to my bro Razul. Okay, schools got people thinking they're black and white. They do. Now that's the most um divisive idea that the schools could have implemented with the people, was making them believe that they were black, white, brown, red, all these different colors, all these different anything that they could do to divide us. They did that. And that's same division, this black white thing is what's tearing us the fuck apart right now. And they still teaching that in school. These people are black, these people are white. You're not black. I'm sorry. I know they started this whole black good. It's great to be black thing and black is beautiful, but get that out of y'all head. There's no such thing as black. There's no such thing as black people. No such thing as white people. That shit didn't exist until the 1400s. So only since the 1400s have been identified as being black and white people. That was never the case before. So again, like I said, that's just one idea that the school teaches that cripples us as a people, this black white thing, because they're teaching white supremacy. And I'm gonna get people that's gonna be mad about that. Oh no, it's not that. It is that. If you take a book or you take your whole education system and you fill it up with nothing but white scholars, I want you to understand that you take your whole curriculum and you fill it up with nothing but white scholars and white people, knowing damn well that there were other people of different races and cultures and religions who actually started and did some of these things. Now, if you don't call that white supremacy, I don't know what you're going to call it. That mind state alone is dangerous for a child. It's dangerous for a child that's not white to go in the school system to learn that everything is white. It makes them feel inferior. That's why you can say it's white supremacy, because the opposite of supremacy is what? Inferiority. So if let's just say I was on my live and the only thing I'm speaking about is black, 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 and I'm telling lies about some people and giving credit to black people that doesn't deserve to go to them. Like, or I started a school doing this, and I have a mixed race of children in there. I can guarantee you that every child in there that's not black or allegedly black, because there's no such thing as black, is going to feel inferior because of the education that they're learning. It's not going to give them the power to make them feel like that they can become a historian, they can become a scientist, they can become a mathematician, because nobody in the books look like them. That's when I say that the school teaches self-hate, that's what I mean. If you're going to divide the people by a color or race, culture, religion, whatever, and then you're going to devalue those people by not even teaching anything that makes those people feel good about themselves or feel like they belong in society, it's going to make them feel inferior. So after being educated in that system for 12 years or whatever, why do you think your children don't want to be anything? Why do you think your children don't know what they want to be? Why do you think they don't feel like they're going to be assets or anything to the community, that they can be anything in the community? Use logic here, people, because you're going to get those same people to say, what does it matter? What does it matter if there were black people in the books or not? It matters because obviously if it didn't matter, why did the books not have all colors in them in the beginning? Why wouldn't the books tell the truth? You sit up here telling me that it's up to you at home to teach your children. So it's okay that these people teach your children blatant lies. It's okay that they teach them blatant lies. And it's up to me to try to debunk those lies while I'm working and everything else and providing for my children. And if I don't debunk the lies, it's on me, right? The only reason I believe that, and I would say it's on me, because I sent them to school in the fucking first place. You're right. It's my responsibility that my children learn what they need to learn in order to be successful. So sending you right. If I send my child to school in the first place, then you right. But I'm telling the people that are sending their children to school, I'm trying to talk to those people because y'all think that this shit was created for y'all, and that's sad. That's real sad that y'all believe that the same people who raped, murdered, enslaved your ancestors was gonna say, "Oh, I'm sorry." And then matter of fact, no, don't. We can't read. It's against the law. We'll kill you. We'll do something to you if we catch you reading and anybody showing you how to read. Then all of a sudden, they wake up someday and have some type of, I guess, grand enlightenment. And oh my God, we shouldn't do this. Let's educate them now. We should educate them. Bullshit. This is what happened. This is the truth. When you read it, you'll figure out the logic in it. They couldn't keep controlling people. They couldn't keep controlling people through through force. That shit was not going to last forever. In history, it has never lasted longer than, I won't even give you a date. Just go read history. Go read the history on Europe and Rome, and you'll see how many times the people in Rome actually rose up and rebelled against their kings. So they already knew this plan wasn't going to work forever, because that brutal force is going to lead to a rebellion. It's going to lead to violent rebellion. So what they did was they said they figured it out through studying ancient knowledge and stuff like that, that they had to indoctrinate us and make us believe and voluntarily consent to our own slavery. What I mean by voluntarily consent is to make us ignorant enough that we believe that these people have a right to police us, have a right to judge us, have a right to control us through putting that shit in our mind. You learn in school what a police officer is, what a judge is. All these is just slave masters with different titles. You can be mad at me for saying that or say that I'm reaching, but no, it's the truth. You just believed it. Judges, police officers, all these are just different titles for the same position. It's a slave master. Now, they duped the fuck out of us. They got us to believe the shit. Oh, that's not a slave master, that's a judge. It's not a slave master, that's a police officer. It's not slave patrol, it's a police officer. It's not slave, that's not a groundskeeper. He's the manager. He's not the house nigga no more. He's your boss. He's your supervisor. All these different word plays that they gave y'all to make to brainwash y'all out of the real truth that it's just slavery. This is slavery. And you keep sending your child to school to learn how to be a good slave. That's all y'all doing. And then when you see them on TV shooting and killing our children, you'll get up and, oh, this needs to change. What are we gonna do? I'm gonna go out and vote this year. I'm gonna go vote. I'm gonna go vote for somebody different this time because this shit is gonna have to change. Never gonna change. We're gonna go down to this talk to our police chief. He's gonna stop it. He don't know what to do. No, he can't stop it. That's all it is. Modern day slavery. All it was washed up, changed up a little bit, gave people titles and different things, and then the way they did it was they had to brainwash both sides of the fence. You have to understand why they needed black and white people, why they needed the people to help out with this. You have to understand why they did it the way they did. If we didn't have a school system teaching people that they were white, these people are black, you're going to be the bosses, you're going to be the workers, you're going to be the principals and everything else, and you guys are going to be the students. If they didn't have a system set up to where even the people that are oppressing you believe that this isn't slavery, believe that it's just oh, this is how the world works. We need to go to school. You have to have government. You have to have police. What are we going to do without those things? There was, like I told you about, the same thing goes to school as goes to all these positions. There's more time in history of people being free without a police department, without a government, without the judges and all these people than there is with people having these things. So y'all need to stop thinking that the world started and y'all had police and you had judges from the very fucking beginning. That ain't what it's saying, y'all Bible. It don't say in the beginning, God made the heavens and earth. Then he made the plants and stuff. Then he made government. It never says that God made government and police. God ain't make that. So I'm sorry to destroy y'all little dream. I'm sorry to destroy your illusion of what you believe because you think that school was created for the betterment of the children and for the people. It was never created for the betterment of the children and the people. It was only created because there were black schools and black people were learning and black people were furthering themselves and getting somewhere and actually becoming entrepreneurs and scholars. So, oh, we can't allow them to educate themselves and have their own school. So let us create a public school and let us have Martin Luther King push it so that we come together, we overcome, and we go to the same schools, we learn the same education. Why? Because if we learn the same education, then everybody's going to be indoctrinated. 4:30. That shit would have never worked if black people would have stayed in the schools that they were into. If we would have kept the Tuskegee, the school, the black school for pilots that we had, Tuskegee, if we would have kept those schools, we would have kept Black Wall Street, if we would have kept all our businesses, if we would have never shut down our businesses for us to all become together because we believed in what Martin Luther King was pushing because he was infiltrated and that was what was pushed on him. Why else do you think that they pushed that agenda and all of a sudden we should all go to school together? Segregation is wrong, guys. I don't see nothing wrong in it if it's not if not a purpose segregation. If it's not something that what's going on now is segregation. They told you it was wrong and then they implemented it the way they wanted to implement it. Black people live in the same neighborhoods no matter where you go to in the United States of America. Every city, there's a side of town where the lower class black people stay, and there's a side of town where the high class black people stay. So is that not segregation? But let you believe what your people told you. Segregation was abolished. It's against the law. You can't do it. But try to take your child to one of these white schools in one of these white neighborhoods. They're gonna tell you something that sounds like segregation. Oh, well, you don't live in the district. I'm sorry, he can't come to this school. I can't even pay for him to come. No, he has to live in the district. That's not segregation. No, it's not segregation at all, guys. It's not the same. He just don't live in the district. I'm sorry. It's the law. And then you go look at the law, and there's no law that says they're allowed to do this. I don't care where you stay at. There's no law that says that just because you live in a certain district, your child has to go to that certain school. There's no law for it, but they tell you it's the law. And y'all protecting a system that does that? Why? I think I'm convinced that the only reason y'all protect it because you feel bad because you're sending your children to the school. So in order to protect your ego, I'm crazy. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. To protect your ego. If you want to protect your ego, continue to do that. That's cool. Go ahead and continue to protect your ego instead of protecting your fucking children. If your ego is more important than your children, get the fuck off my lawn. You can't sit up there and say the children are the future. We need to protect the children. And you giving them the worst thing, the poison. Because miseducation is poison. You're sending them to be poisoned with white supremacy. This is on both sides of the fence. It doesn't matter what color or what culture you come from. Your children are being poisoned with white supremacy. And you allow it. Because, oh, I got to go to work. They got to learn something, so I'm going to send them to school. I think they need the education. I'm sorry, you're participating in this. And as much as I want to congratulate my brothers and sisters that are in the school systems that are working with the children. It's hard for me to do that with you guys because you guys aren't helping. You have to understand this is the way the system has always been and it's always worked. They perfect it. They make sure that all the guidelines and everything is all drawn out for nobody to be able to overstep it. And then they start letting black people in there because black people going to follow the book. And you can see it right in our community over here. In these schools right here where our children go to, there are people in those schools without an education for teaching. They don't even, they ain't even teachers. They didn't even go to school for teaching, but they got all these Mr. and Miss black people that are in these positions that are teaching your children that don't even have a fucking degree to be in there. Why? Because it don't matter no more. We don't give a damn about whether they're educated as long as they're going to follow the rules that we put down, as long as they're going to follow the agenda. And nobody follows the agenda more than us. I got to go to the school and go in there and fight with somebody that look just like me about how my child is not supposed to get the jab. And then they're like looking at me like I'm crazy. Like, it's not that big of you're not even in the medical field. You never read one motherfucking vaccine. You didn't read the fine print and shit, but you're gonna sit up there and tell me everything is fine. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know why you're doing this. Because people just follow the agenda. You guys are great at what they programmed you to be. Hold on, let me get some of y'all comments in. Go back here. Okay. The power of the U.S. was built off of the ingenuity, using the greatest minds that don't want to be labeled could come to us and recreate themselves 70p. I'm sorry, I'm kind of lost on what you meant. But at the end there, man wrote a whole almanac, bro. They don't know that, man. How do you excel without superiority? What do you mean? Like as far as us, or as far as the people, period, or and it may be late because I'm going through these comments after I actually touched on the point. So I'm sorry if I missed the concept of what you were saying, bro. Only a fool will let their enemy teach their children. Malik El Shabazz. Malcolm X said it best, bro. Only a fool would let their enemy teach their children. I didn't say that. People, don't be mad at me. Don't think that I'm a crazy guy. Malcolm X said that. So you want to point him out to be crazy, go ahead. Only reason there's slavery is because the royal subjects are white politicians, not slavery. Not slavery has always been a chain of command. The military was based on Nubian social classes. The military and all of their science has been based off of like Nubia, where else? The Sumerian cultures. Like people don't understand that a lot of these cultures they had systems of commerce. The Sumerians and them were the people that came up with like the basic ideas, I think, of banking and that type of stuff. So nothing really is new. This wasn't a system that they completely created on their own. They got it from ancient knowledge and ancient cultures that are already set up bartering systems and ways of trading. So none of this stuff is new. It's the shame the lies they teach our children. You damn right, it's a shame. And nobody seems to care. That's the problem that I'm like, 5 years ago, I'm preaching that this was a lie. That's a lie. Columbus a lie. All these things. We've been doing this stuff for a long time. And I believe that most people should know or have an idea that there is lies now. So with that being said, and knowing that they are lying, it didn't influence these people to want to go out and correct them. Like, I would at least expect for you guys to be at these school meetings, making them change the curriculum, championing for these people to start telling the truth in the areas that we know that they're lying at. I would not mind sending my child to a school that was equal and fair, where they're actually learning the truth. Now, it's the lies and it's the agenda behind the school system that I don't like. I'm not talking about the teachers in the school systems that are innocent, that only teach the curriculum because this is what they've been taught. That's the problem with me talking. These people want to take everything personal. You want to take it as I'm talking about you, your family member. My mom's a teacher. My sister's a teacher. What are you saying? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we all have been duped and manipulated and lied to. Like I told you, ignorance in action is the worst thing. So these teachers just spewing out this stuff that they learned, not understanding it as lies, not knowing that it's mentally fucking up people's heads, especially the black children in their classes. There are some of these, and like I said, I don't say black and white because I believe in it. I say it because a lot of people operate on that level. But there are some of these so-called white teachers that actually want to know why these so-called black children can't get it, why they aren't learning. I've sat after school and I've tried to teach this child this. I've tried to give them a love for reading. They just don't get it. I know that there's teachers out there like that. So I'm not bashing those teachers. Those teachers just don't have a full understanding of the problem or can see the big picture of the problem. So they're just trying to solve the problem the best way that they know how to. And like I said, you cannot solve a problem in the same mind state that created the problem. So if I've only learned and I've been indoctrinated by people who don't want to see me great, how can I teach other children how to beat this, how to be great, what it takes to be successful? I'm not going to be able to do that. So when I'm talking to people, I'm just saying, like, if you don't understand what it takes to make change, just be quiet. If you're not willing to go out and do that extra research and read and try to understand what it's going to take to actually make a change, just shut your mouth. Don't go out here and listen to somebody else tell, even me. Don't go out here and listen to what I'm telling you without going out and doing the research and seeing it for yourself before you start telling somebody it. That's the problem. We got all these people that are in these places. They're supposed to be intelligent, that are giving you this advice that they don't even know how to break the spell or what's going on themselves. All these people, he should have just complied with a police officer. You guys should just comply and everything will be okay. Compliance ain't never got us nowhere. There's plenty of people and plenty of videos showing that when people of color comply, it doesn't matter. It doesn't change the outcome in a lot of the situations. So compliance is not the answer to the question. studying the law, um, getting yourselves out of that system, figuring out what your nationality is, you know, getting closer to your culture and your people. That's the answer. So then you don't have to be policed and judged by these people. Like the Amish and the Indians aren't policed and judged by these people. Why not? Because they have a different mind state. They're not educated by the same people who are enslaving them. They have their own education system. They're allowed to teach their children what goes along with their culture and their heritage, just the same as you should be teaching your children what goes with your culture and your heritage. That's going to give your children power. It's going to make them feel empowered. That's the reason why we have more thugs, more everything else in our communities than we have scholars. Because when they open these books up and they watch TV and they watching all these things, they don't see people who look like them in those professions. I'm not saying there aren't people in those professions. There's plenty of black doctors, black lawyers, black all these things, but they don't put them in the books. They're not bringing those people to the schools and having those people talk to this black predominant school to tell them, hey, look, I'm a lawyer. Hey, I came from the same neighborhood as you. I was exactly where you were. I did this, I did this, I did that. And look at where I am today. Now, you may have a lot more lawyers if you would have those people come to those schools and talk to those children. And it's not that I'm advocating for our children to become lawyers in this system. I think they should learn the law for they can become lawyers in our own system. I think they need to learn the law so they become judges in our own system. And that's not racist for anybody that's so-called black to want something for their own people, to want better for their own people, to want to separate yourself from an oppressor that's been kicking your ass since day one. They'll champion you when you want to separate yourself from the abusive relationship, an abusive husband, an abusive wife. Leave him. Honey, you could do better on your own. When are you guys going to leave the United States of America? When are you going to leave their practices alone? When are you going to leave their schools alone? Let them have their shit. We got a bad relationship, an abusive relationship with this country. When y'all going to see that? When are you going to see that? Like, if everything is going wrong, sometimes you just got to scratch everything and start from the beginning, start from the bottom. Y'all too scared to scratch everything. You don't want to throw out everything. You keeping everything so closely to you because you believe it's yours. It belongs to you. And none of it does. That isn't your history. They're not teaching you anything about indigenous people. So it's not history of yours. It's nothing for you to hold on to. Get rid of it. This is not what your ancestors believed in before they brought this stuff, before they brought religion into them. So why don't you go find out what they believed before? This wasn't how your ancestors learned before these people showed up and started pushing everything on them. How did they learn before? They learned hands-on. They learned because they did the shit. They wasn't sitting in a classroom writing notes, taking notes. I'm convinced that that's not how black people learn. I'm convinced that that's just not how we learn. So no wonder if that's not how we learn, how we're not getting the shit. Everybody got their own learning style. They teach you that in school. Everybody learns differently. Then why y'all teaching it the same to everybody else then? How come we not seeing that our people aren't getting it? Why, if our people aren't getting it, do you continue sending them to fucking school? Where's the logic in that? We're talking about logic here, all in all. You want to save the schools, you want to protect the school, but logically, they've not done anything to benefit you. More of our children are going to prison than are going to college. That means something is wrong or something is right. Which one is it? It's completely right for the government because that's what they designed it for. They designed it for people to go to prison, especially low-class black people. So if they looking at the numbers, that's why they ain't changed nothing, because it's doing exactly what they wanted to do. It's producing the criminals and the people who look like the people who look like it, who they want to be criminals. Let me say that again because they got mixed up. They're producing criminals and the people they want to look like the criminals. When if you put anybody in poverty, there's going to be crime. Black, yellow, brown, red, whatever. Okay. Speak on it. I've never excelled in school, but because I wasn't intellectual, but because I refused to be indoctrinated, and I didn't either. I wasn't. I was. I didn't hardly read any books in school, and when I was in high school, and I managed to get through school without reading anything. And I don't know if I didn't feel like it was weird at the time, but I had no extra motivation to really want to learn that stuff because, again, now I see because none of it looked like me. It's not enticing to anybody that doesn't look like them. Like there's no, look around the world, people, look around the world. What other country has people who don't look like them teaching them, and the information that they're getting, the people that they're seeing in those books don't even look like them. When you go to Asia, you go to Russia, you go to all these other countries, the people in those books look like the people who are learning. Of course, there's black people there in all these other countries too, that the stuff is not going to look like them. Okay. But I'm just saying, usually that's the way it works in a country, in a society. The information is catered to the country of the people and the people who look like them. America is a stolen country. So it shouldn't be surprising to anyone that the information here, the curriculum here, doesn't cater to the people or the history of this country. It doesn't tell you anything about the history of this country. It tells you about the people who invaded it when they got here and what they're telling you. You're learning history from from the people who conquered the country. They're not going to tell you the history of this country. They're not going to tell you about the indigenous people here and what they did to them. They're going to soften that shit up and make it sound and decorate it how they want to. They ain't going to tell you that they genocided and killed these people. They ain't gonna make it sound that bad. Oh, it was a little smallpox here, a little chicken pox there, and they just kind of pushed them in and made them move into certain areas. They're gonna make it sound so like not devilish. That's what they want to do. They want to sprinkle a little bit of sprinkles on top and some frosting and shit and make it look and good. Oh, it was just they colonized the place. These people were barbaric, and then they came here and they taught them how to live and how to build houses and things. Like the Indian people here weren't smart enough. Like they weren't already farming. Like they weren't already taking care of themselves. They got to make it seem like they came and saved them. They can't make it. They wouldn't tell you. They're not gonna tell you the real truth and show you the devils that they really were and how they came in with the horns all the way out. They're not gonna tell you that. They're not gonna tell you it. But they will tell you how allegedly Hitler was the devil who did this to his people. They'll tell you Saddam Hussein fucked up his people and did all this bad shit. They'll tell you all these other people But they don't tell you how they used those people and then stole tactics from those same people. They don't tell you how they got a lot of information from Hitler and his scientists on indoctrination, on propaganda, on how to control people. They don't tell you that. They tell you he was evil, he killed this many Jews and all this shit. They don't tell you about the Holocaust that they're still going on here in this country. They're not going to paint Christopher Columbus in the same brush that they paint Hitler with. God forbid they do that. Oh, he founded the place. Oh, he didn't. He found it and didn't even set foot fucking here. Our public indoctrination camps need to go. They don't teach you anything about real life tools like how to buy a house, what interest is all about, and so on. What interest is all about. They don't. That was my argument on my last live I tried to do. You guys trust these people. You believe in this system so much. They're not teaching your children anything they need to know to survive. They give them home ec, but will not give them a proper education in growing their own food. Why? Because home ec doesn't threaten the system. Home ec still allows for our sisters and brothers to have these grocery stores that we gave to them and still be able to sell food to you guys. Home ec makes you a slave to the system still. It's not making you independent. It's not making you what's called self-sufficient, right? That's why they'll give you home ec. And you guys jumped all over it and didn't even think about the fact that they're not teaching you how to grow the food. This is how stupid and how ignorant, because I don't want to say stupid, it's going to hurt some of you, how ignorant they're teaching our children to be. That a child can go to school for 12 years, graduate high school, and then be in the house where they have no food and nothing in the house, but will go out and try to rob somebody or do something illegal to make money to get food instead of buying a fucking seed and going out there and planting it in the backyard that they have in their home house. How much logic is that coming from school if they're not teaching them that? Why would it take stupid old crazy ass fucking me to come up with that fucking shit? And these are scholars in your school that can't understand why why are these people going out and breaking in and causing all this stuff and doing all this violence and all this stuff? Because you're not teaching them shit else. But they quick to show you, and this doesn't start in school. It's in your cinema. It's your Hollywood that's putting the shit in your face. They got plenty of movies of all this crime and motherfuckers going out and doing crazy shit because they don't have no food, no place to stay. There was their last resort, nothing else they could do. They not showing you nobody that went outside and pitched a tent. They ain't showing you nobody that went outside and started hunting for their fucking self. They ain't show you nobody that just said, fuck it, I'm gonna go and start a garden because I don't have no fucking food. That's logic. So if they ain't teaching your fucking kids logic, they're setting them up for fucking failure, and y'all continue to let them do that shit. Think it's okay. That's how ignorant that is. If your child can go to school for 12 fucking years and they have no way of feeding their family and they're at home twiddling their thumbs and they got a house that's provided, and instead of just going to the store and spending a couple dollars on seeds, that they can grow a whole garden full of fucking food under $100, that they're willing to go out and risk their freedom to go and rob or steal or do anything when it is literally free. Food is literally fucking free. Like, if y'all can't see how they fucked us with that, they took something free that God gave us for free and then put it and then brought you to school and taught you that you need to pay for it. If you can't see that as fuckery, I can't tell y'all how to, I can't wake y'all up. You'll be ignorant forever. And I'm gonna get somebody, oh, he thinks everything's supposed to be free. He's one of those guys. No, I just think that whatever God created should be free. If I'm a fool or if I'm crazy for that, then strike me down or lock me in an insane asylum. Because that's logic. It's truth. It makes fucking sense. The animals aren't paying for it because they don't have hands. That's why, guys. Because they didn't go to school, right? Because they don't have to go to school. They shouldn't. They're not paying for it. For what reason? How come the animals get free food and we don't, guys? How smart are we to believe in this shit? And you wonder why they treat us like fucking animals. The government tell you you can't grow your own food. It's against the law. Motherfuckers won't even go out and grow. We can't even grow because they said it. We can't grow. We'll get in trouble. I'm sorry. I just use logic for everything and common sense. And if I can't put it in common sense and I can't make it make sense from logic, then it just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me that I'm going to continue to trust people with my children that can't teach them common sense. If they didn't want your child to be in trouble or be a hoodlum or go to jail, then they would teach them the alternatives. They would say, hey, look, you can always go to a grocery store to pick this up, but why not grow it? Why not instead of home ec, why not have a gardening class? Because we'll teach you how to cook and prepare it, because if you won't be a slave, then you're going to be working at McDonald's or somewhere. You're going to need to know how to cook anyways, right? Or we can't have all of our food in the stores that our friends and our cousins who own these grocery stores, and can't have all that go to waste and spoil. So we can't teach them how to garden, because then they wouldn't come to stores and fatten up our fucking pockets. Oh, we can't teach them how to garden and stuff, because then what would happen with the medical field if they're not eating our poison fucking food? God forbid they don't eat our poison and they don't have to come to our fucking hospitals. Oh, God forbid that. Y'all don't see the bigger fucking picture. You won't see it. You won't see it because you trust all these people. I don't trust nobody but the Most High. Let me say that again. I don't trust nobody but the Most High. I love some of you people in here, but I ain't gonna trust you. I can't. I don't even trust the people I study with. If they tell me something, they gotta show it to me in the book, or I'm gonna go look for it myself still. Ain't nothing wrong with that. It ain't no disrespect to them that I don't trust them. It's just that that's the way it's supposed to be. The your Bible says, test the spirit of the human being. Test the spirit of that person. Before you just believe something what somebody say, you have to test the spirit to find out whether this is a good person. What they're telling you is good. Testing the spirit also means going behind them and looking it up to see. Right now, we just going off a lot of things that we've been taught. Like I said, you think home ec is good. Okay, yeah, learning how to cook is good. Yeah, but if you're not learning how to grow, what is learning how to cook going to get you? Except for working in somebody else's job. Just because you learn how to cook, if you ain't got no food, what you gonna cook? So when I tell you these schools are set up to fill your heads up with shit that never will make logical sense, that's what I mean. Let's teach them home ec, not gardening. Gardening is too much power for the people to have in their hands, black or fucking white. This is not just about black people, y'all. Black or white, gardening is way too powerful for the people to have that in their hands. Because if the people are growing their own food, we can't manipulate and control them. We can't, the medical field will crash if the people start growing their own food, because all the shit that they put in all in our food, all the genetically modified shit that take all the nutritions out, all that shit would be gone. We would actually be getting healthy off the food that we're eating, because all the medicine is in the herbs and the food that you eat. They genetically modify that shit the fuck out of there. There are so many fucking vegetables, fruits, and things that are not original, that they crossbreeded 2 different vegetables to get the shit. You don't even know what's real and what's fake. They say a carrot they say carrots is not a naturally growing vegetable. They said a carrot is a cross between 2 different vegetables that they created. Soak that up for a second. Along with the carrot, there are other vegetables and other things that were created and designed and crossed, genetically modified way before our time. So genetic modification ain't new. I'm sorry, I don't mean to skip all y'all comments. I love all y'all comments. I'm just, usually when I get to the comments, what happens is that I lose my train of thought and I'm not able to speak on what I'm going to say. So I'm sorry. I don't mean to disregard you guys, but keep commenting. Like, I'm reading them and I'm trying to touch on some of this stuff. Jason Wright, broccoli. A lot of these things are not naturally growing vegetables and fruit, but you trust these people. Tilapia is not a naturally reoccurring fish. There's no tilapia until they put it out there. So I just want y'all to understand there's so many things that they genetically modified and put in nature. Anything seedless is the devil. Yeah, in more than one way. It's not just the fact that all the nutrition is gone from that plant. It's the fact that they're making it seedless because of what? You won't be able to plant and grow it. That's the biggest picture to that. That's what y'all not gonna see till it's fucking too late. After they done genetically modify all of the seeds out of nature, so none of y'all can't grow the shit, that the stores and the producers, the only people that's gonna be able to grow and produce these fruits and vegetables, y'all really gonna be fucked then. And y'all waiting for it. And that's what's happening. They ain't taking the seeds out just because it's taking the nutrients out. They taking the seeds out to stop people from replanting the shit. But y'all smart though. You want to keep sending your children to school to learn that shit until there's no seeds left in any of the fruit or vegetables, till we have to go to them for the food. Y'all gonna wait till then, and it's almost to that point, guys. It's almost there. It's even to the point where the ones that have seeds, they've been genetically modified so much that you can barely grow anything from those seeds already. So the seedless is just the next step to making sure that the people do not become self-sufficient. That's what school is about. Everything you learn in school is to take away your self-sufficiency. That's why they got all these different titles for everybody. Doctors, lawyers, nurses, all these things. When you don't understand that back in the day, in your family, you had to have someone who knew a little bit about all of these things. Your mom was the doctor. And if you go to you go and watch YouTube or anywhere where they're showing you these indigenous African people, and then you'll see where they say, oh, that child just got illy sick. Oh my God. This child is on their deathbed. Let's watch and see what this mother does. And that woman go out there in nature and start chewing up fucking plants, start grabbing fucking plants, boiling shit, putting shit together, feeding it and giving it to the child. And they say the next 48 hours are critical. And they show you why this child comes back to life after they tell you this child was damn near dying. This lady didn't go to no fucking doctor at all. She knew what herbs she needed to give her child to heal him. They show you that shit on TV, but they show you in a light that makes it look like, oh, this is below you. You don't know that's for people that are down there, people that don't have any other way, that don't have a hospital to go through. You guys are better than that. Go to the hospital, guys. You have a hospital. Oh, those people don't have, they're a lot better off than you without that hospital. They don't have any food. They got these videos. They show you these guys are living in hunger. They don't have any food. They lying to y'all. They lying to y'all. If you've seen some of the bloopers and behind the scene clips of these people smiling at these places that where they try to find these people that look very small to try to make you believe that this is like below standards and these people are starving, like you guys would. It's a bunch of bullshit is what it is. Okay, some more comments. Broccoli is GMO. It's mixed with cabbage and cauliflower. Y'all hear that, people? Broccoli is mixed with cabbage and cauliflower. It's a cross between those two plants that makes broccoli. Okay, broccoli is not naturally occurring. Let me tell y'all that again. Broccoli is not a naturally occurring vegetable. It's a cross between two vegetables that created broccoli. Same with carrots. When you start doing your research, you're going to find out a lot of different vegetables and fruits are not naturally reoccurring. These are genetically modified, crossbreeded vegetables, Jason. Correct. Crossbreeded. That's why they tell you, and then they tell you that the carrot helps out with your eyesight, and doctors say that's complete bullshit, that it has nothing to do with your eyesight. Okay. Okay. Nope. It's farm raised and made in sewage water. Ugh. People won't, I don't think they want to hear the truth on that one. We as adults are held accountable for the shit that's happening because we continue to do the same shit expecting different results. And that's what I'm talking about. You say that we need change. I say school is the change that we need. Don't send your children to school, homeschool. But people don't see that as being change. But I'm telling you that this is the same thing we've been doing for hundreds of years now. It has not gotten us anywhere. So change means that you change things. That means you go back and you see, okay, well, we tried this for so long. Let's cut this and try something different. If you guys aren't willing to start cutting some of these things out, like school, anything that's not shown you that it benefits you, then you're going to forever be lost. We can't keep doing the same thing, people. We've been voting for years. We've been doing the same marching for years. The power is with the people. The power is in the people. And you guys don't believe that because every time you want to change something, you say, I got to go vote or I got to go talk to this politician. No, you just have to start doing it. We just all have to, as a people, have to decide that we're done with it, that we're not going to listen to the rules. They can't lock up everybody. They won't. They I mean, if everybody agrees, then who they have to lock up? So the power has always been with the people. We just don't know how to exercise it because they never teach you how to do it. They teach you to continue to go back to them. Come to us and vote for us to change it for you. How much fucking sense does that make? It's never going to work out. Exactly. do when COVID happened, it was the best thing that happened to me. It opened my eyes on a lot of things. COVID opened a lot of people's eyes. I tell people that all the time. Everybody who wasn't ready to homeschool or be at home with their significant other, their families, or any of that stuff, a lot of those people definitely learned a lot during COVID. Like, luckily, I was already homeschooling, so I didn't have to go back and forth when the schools were letting out and wasn't letting people in, or they were mandating these jabs and stuff like that. I was already prepared for that. I didn't have to deal with any of that. My children haven't been to school, never have. So that's something that you guys have to always understand to be prepared for, because schools are not going to be here forever, guys. I'm gonna say that again. They're actually shutting down schools in some of these lower income, impoverished places, and like um 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 Memphis, Memphis, places in Mississippi. Some of these places where there's lower, like lower income, and people don't have the money, and like those, there's a lot of preschools and those smaller schools they're shutting down. They're not even going to have any education in some of those places. Now, that's going to be bad because of the simple fact that these people wouldn't even know where to begin to even give themselves even any type of education. So that's why I say get ready now. Start homeschooling now, because if they shut down schools because they're like, okay, people are getting way too intelligent. We taught them enough that now if they go on YouTube and they start reading and researching, they're going to learn all the secrets. So we just shut schools down and don't teach them shit. Then where that's going to leave all of your children and all these people. You guys aren't ready for that. If you're homeschooling, you're getting ready now, then you'll be the reason the school shut down. These schools get millions of dollars for your children to sit in those seats. They're getting grants to teach your children lies. We need to choose our own paths, our own destination, not continue to let these people choose our paths for us. And that's what it boils down to. Like I said, I'm not going to keep you guys here forever, but what I did wanted to get across is that what makes you guys think that school was created for you? Black or white people, red people, brown people, whoever. What makes you believe that school was created for you? Yes, I'm learning contract law and working on rescinding all government contracts. Amen. Alyssa, that is something that a lot of these people it's gonna fly over a lot of their heads, and they're not gonna understand what you're doing, but I know what's going on. And that's exactly what we need to do, because we're in all type of contracts and things and agreements that we don't understand, and that those are the things that kind of hold us into this slave system, is our voluntary consent, things that we don't understand that we think we understand, the law that we think we know but we don't know. It's more spiritual than it is anything. In the law system, they got a lot of spiritual things and a lot of hidden ancient, like it's voodoo, for a lack of a better term, because, and I hate to say voodoo because people start thinking voodoo is all bad, or spirituality, or whatever you want to call it, hoodoo. But that's exactly what it is. It's spirituality, but it's being used against us. It's in a negative way. Like I tell people, why do you think that they're making you put your child's feet print on the birth certificate? And then they told you that the bottom of your feet is what called the sole of your feet. So I'm taking the sole of my child's foot and I'm placing it on a document. For what reason? Do you guys know where that even comes from? Okay, if you study ancient cultures, you study the Sumerians, you study the Egyptians, and you see that when they put their feet or handprints embedded into cement or documents, that they were agreeing to things. It was the way of making agreements. And the reason why it's the sole of your feet, because it's pretty much selling your soul. But that's a reach for you guys. You won't believe me. You're not going to believe that. But hey, you can think of it whatever you want to, but just think of it this way. That ritual, putting your hands and your feet on stone or documents, it was never about a birth certificate. It was always used for agreements and contracts back in the day. So you take that how you want to. You could take that however you want to. It was used for rituals, agreements, and all that type of stuff. You put your fingers and handprints embedded in stones and stuff like that. It's a ritual. That whole birth certificate thing that they do that whole process that they do in the hospital, the circumcision, everything, it's a ritual. And it has nothing to do with you or your heritage or your religion. That comes from it's a Jewish religion. Circumcision is a Jewish cultural practice. It's not Christian. It's not Catholic. It's not Muslim. It's not the Nation of Islam. It didn't come from them. It is Jewish. Period. Argue with whoever you want to about the facts. But that's a ritual that doesn't even come from your ancestors or your people. Doesn't even come from the religion that you believe in. It's not a Christian thing. So why are you guys doing it? That's just one of many things that you do in ignorance that you don't understand. The Most High is my only government. Amen, Jason. And that's why I tell people every year, I vote for the Most High for my president, my government, my king, my police officer, my politician. There ain't a spot that the Most High don't sit in for me. And I tell the judges in this when I go to court, I'm sorry, I can't be judged by you because the Most High is my judge. Never did I vote for any of you guys. Like, once y'all understand the power in that, I'm telling you, you'll figure it out. And I'm not gonna get too much into law here because this is not what this is about. Don't use sovereign. Okay, to give the control over the government, to give the government control over your vessel, becoming a sovereign citizen in this country. Don't use sovereign citizen but a national citizen. The police and the courts gave a hard time because they think you're following Moorish law. Okay. Now, with the sovereign citizen thing, you have to understand peace, Tammy, peace. You have to understand that the etymology behind the words, and then you'll understand why it doesn't make sense. Because a sovereign is a king of oneself. Sovereign is king of oneself. It means that you pretty much have your own political power to make your own decisions if you're a sovereign. So, and a citizen translates to a slave. So you can't be a king slave. So it's a bad term when you understand the etymology from it anyways. So what you want to be is just national. And yeah, they'll say it's a national citizen or national of the state or whatever, but you want to be a citizen of the particular state that you were born in and not a citizen of the United States, because the United States is a federal corporation. The states themselves are sovereign countries called states. Okay, but that's not what this is about. Alyssa, I'm going to have a whole video where I just completely talk about law and that type of stuff, but I wanted to talk on this because, you know, when I start my law videos and stuff, a lot of people, it flies over most of their heads, and I lose so many people. They're just not ready to hear a lot of it. So I try to give law as I can, and like I said, I'll do a law video completely on that topic for sure, Alyssa. A national citizen of the state, right? That's what you want to be, a national of the state that you were born in. You can only be a national citizen of the state that you were born in. That doesn't mean that you can't travel and go to all these other places and live there or stay there or that stuff. That's the trickery. But the national is the true citizenship that's going to give you the freedom that you want to be able to do the things that you would like to do. Like the Amish and the Indians, they're nationals. They're not citizens of the United States. So that's the reason why the police don't go on their land, which is they have in trust, which they have privatized, and the police are not allowed to go on the land because of certain documents and because they're not voluntarily consenting to being slaves like we do. When you get a birth certificate for your child and you sign that, you sign and transfer your child over as a ward of the state. You're giving up power of attorney over your child. You're giving all the rights to your property, which is your child, over to the state. You're giving them the equitable interest, equitable title. You're giving them everything that they have, everything to prove that they have ownership. So just to speak on a little bit of law, that's what's happening there. And the same thing happens when you do your when you buy a house and you go and take it and register it down there, your what is it? Your abstract and all that stuff. When you go and register your abstract and stuff down to the county, what you're saying is that, hey, I just bought this place. It was my property, but I want you guys to control and own it for me in my benefit. So that way, now that I've turned over my house to the state, now the police have the right to come and arrest me when they feel like it, because I just gave over my private property and my rights to privacy over to a public institution, and now I have no privacy there. I want you guys to understand that. I'm going to get off of here because this changed to law. If you guys want to talk about law, I'll start a whole nother law topic, and I'm not going to do it today, but I'll do it tomorrow. You guys, we'll do a law topic tomorrow. But I need you guys to understand the difference between private and public. And when I say voluntarily consenting, that's what I'm saying. And schools, and I can wrap this around, Jason, I'm gonna wrap this right back to schools to let them know what's going on. Schools are the ones who teach you guys how to sign everything you own back over to who? Daddy, the government, who they were created by, to make sure that you don't get any freedom and you don't get any privacy, and you continue to voluntarily consent yourself to the system. That's another reason why I say this shit is so bad and dangerous. I can go on and on and on about showing you how school is so fucked up. But the most important and major thing that I'm wrapping up with is that you sending your children to school, they're learning how to be slaves on every level completely, economically, financially, physically, mentally, every angle. They're learning how to be slaves. Because once you graduate from high school, they tell you what? Make sure you guys go down there and get an ID. Then they give you those IDs at school for you guys to get familiar with having an ID, carrying around an ID to identify yourself. Now, soon as you get 18, you go get that ID. You turned over all of your rights to be free, to be a sovereign, to be independent. All those constitutional rights, all those Bill of Rights that you read in the beginning that says you have a right to freedom of religion and exercise thereof. You just signed over that right and gave it to the government. You don't have those rights anymore. Your children don't have those rights anymore. So the school is robbing you of the most important thing that God gave you, which is your sovereignty, because they teach you how to give it away. Oh, don't vote for the Most High for your king and your God and for your president and for to be your police to protect you and stuff. Vote for our president. Vote for this politician. Go down to the police department and vote for the police chief. Vote for the sheriff. That is all signing away your right to sovereignty. Your right to police your own self and your own children. Why the fuck am I going to continue to let you police my children if you're shooting them down? If you're treating them differently, beating the fuck out of them? That's what you got to come to. But you're not going to learn that going to school, because the only thing you're going to learn is this is a police officer. His job is to do this. This is a judge. His job is to do this. That's called indoctrination. It's not called teaching you anything, because these two positions are made the fuck up. There's no such thing as a fucking police officer or a judge. That's a fucking made up thing. God made man. This is what y'all gotta understand. When I say made up, this is what I mean. God made man. Man means one man and man. The womb man and the man is all man. That's all man. When I say man, I don't just mean a man with testosterone. I mean the woman and the man. God made man. Man made everything else underneath that, all the titles and shit. That shit is made the fuck up. It's no different than an animal going to a fucking zoo and learning that this is a zookeeper. This is the owner of the zoo. Everybody sitting out there in the crowd, those are our customers. Same fucking thing, same program. It's still slavery. So y'all want to keep voting and then cry when they shooting your children down? Cry when they tell you you can't go to this school because you don't live in that district? Cry because they told you this and that? All these certain things that you believe to be laws that are not, that you only agreed to, and it's a contract that you signed that makes it law. Hey, go ahead. Like the lady said on my post, to each his own. If that's the way you want to live your life, don't call me crying. Don't post on here crying when they policing you and raping you and throwing you in jail and concentration camps. Don't cry when all these things are going on because you voluntarily consented to it. You asked for this. Don't pray to God either because you asked for it. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I appreciate all the comments. I appreciate all the shares. I appreciate all the likes. I appreciate everything. Like I said, tomorrow, if not tomorrow, the next day, I will do a live that is law-based. So anybody who wanted to hear more about law, we can talk about the law. This video is just kind of touch on the school system. And then like all videos, I show you guys how all of this stuff ties together, you know, because if I get on a rant about this and this, and people are like, what does that have to do with school? It's the same beast. It all goes back to the same people. I'm 49 and have never registered to vote. I don't vote for ownership of my entity or give another man control over me. The Most High is the only one who gets my vote. And we're going to end on that. It's all relative. Listen to Jason. Make the Most High your president this year. Make the Most High your politician. Make the Most High your police officer. Make the Most High, and if you don't call it the Most High, call it God. Make God. Put God in all those positions that you put another man in, and you'll see how your life will change. Stop voting for these people. Stop giving away your power. Stop trusting another man or woman because nobody is saints. These people probably won't even get themselves into heaven if there's one for them to get there. They can't. The Bible says, put your faith not in princes, for in them you will find no salvation. And in the other translation, it says, put your faith not in men, because in men you won't find salvation. That means that a man or a woman, you can't trust nobody. Nobody is going to protect you or save you. Your salvation is for you. You're the only person that's going to get yourself saved. Stop participating in your own demise. Alyssa, that's true. Stop supporting this shit. I know you don't know how you're going to make things happen, who's going to watch the kids while you're at work, but put your faith in the Most High that something's going to happen. I didn't know how it was going to work out for me, but I did it. I'm not going to allow my children to be taught by devils, to be lied to be preyed upon, to have them spirituality and voodoo be put on my children, so then that way they can't wake up and they don't understand what's going on because of all the bullshit that they've been told. I wasn't willing to combat with that, and you guys need to stop doing that too, because it's a lot worse than what you think it is. It's not a white little lie. It's not a white lie. It's your children's salvation. It's your salvation that you guys are wrestling with. So again, peace. I love you guys. Have a great night. We will definitely have another conversation like this. I will leave this video up. I didn't leave the other one up. I deleted it, but I will leave this up for anybody who says they want to rewatch it. I'll give it a few days or about a week or so, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to be taking it down, and I'll post it on my YouTube. So then anybody that wants to rewatch it can go to my YouTube. Peace and love, everybody. Appreciate the comments. Guys, have a great night.